Hey there, cybersecurity warriors. In this ID Shield review, I'm going to share my firsthand experiences with this identity theft protection service and let you know how I think it performs in terms of its monitoring capabilities in the dark web, its credit monitoring, and its transaction monitoring. I'll also talk a bit about my experiences working with their support team and what they have to offer in terms of threat resolution. And finally, of course, I'll talk about ID Shield's cost and we'll discuss a little bit how that stacks up against some of the others out there. Well, I would say that IDShield is not the worst identity theft protection service I have used, and I have used 6 of them as of now. I would say that it is not that great either. And, it has some pretty distinct drawbacks that I'll get into in a minute here. So, while I think it's not a terrible choice, I would say you might want to check out some of these other services. My personal favorite these days is Aura, and I'll show you a bit of the differences between ID Shield and Aura later in this video. For right now, if you do decide to choose ID Shield, make sure to check the description of this video. If I have any discounts, I will leave a link there that'll automatically apply that discount on checkout. So hopefully that'll help you get a better deal if you do decide to go with ID Shield. But for now, let's dive in and see what it has to offer. So when you log in, you're first presented with this little dashboard here. And right away, the strange thing to me is that I just logged in, and now what you'll see is when I click here, each one of these little sort of sections of ID Shield's offering is its own little portal, or I'm not entirely sure what it is, but so right away that's kind of annoying, and you'll find it comes up time and time again. So this is the dashboard of the monitoring section. As you can see, that is, credit and dark web monitoring. So kind of the bulk of my review here. This is really the most important aspect of any identity theft protection service, in my opinion. So what you can see here is you're presented with your alerts right here in the dashboard, and you can see, your credit score at a glance and your credit tracker at a glance. Not a, I'd say a useful dashboard. There's definitely some good information here. We'll talk a little more about the alert section in a second here, but we'll start with dark web monitoring. How does that work with ID Shield? If you come over here to, the dark web section, you can basically put in all of this different information here. And what it will do is monitor the dark web and the web itself for any instances where it comes up with this information. And basically it has been leaked, for identity thieves to use to their gain. So right now I'm monitoring 6 email addresses, and it doesn't seem like there's any sort of small limit on that like some of these identity theft protection services have. So that's nice. You can monitor telephone numbers, credit cards, debit cards, store cards, bank accounts, medical IDs, driver's licenses, passports, login credentials, mother's maiden name, national provider ID, investment accounts, employer IDs, gamer tags, crypto wallets, and of course your social security number. So it does offer, quite a lot of information that you can put in. So not bad. And basically how the dark web monitoring works is when it finds any of this information on the dark web, which, and unless you're really, really good at, you know, keeping track of your information online, it's going to find some. And it will give you these alerts here. And basically what it's going to tell you is, what type of alert, in this case, personal information was compromised. And then it just tells you all the information about it. When it found this breach, what they're saying about it, in this case, my personal data has been compromised. The name of the breach, it's Twitter full database 200 something, something, not entirely sure. This came from breach forums, which I'm guessing is somewhere on the dark web. And it's in a source file here, this text file here. And what they found was my email address. And you can click here to see the exposed data. And you can see that it is my email address, my name there, how many followers I have. So this is, a Twitter breach, basically. That's what it looks like. And then you give you some information on what that means and, what you should do about it. So not too bad. The problem I have with ID Shield, and, I feel like there has to be a way to do what I'm trying to do, but I cannot go back and see alerts that I've cleared. So when I first signed in and it did its initial scan, it found 17 instances of my personal information leaked on the dark web. But now, once I've dismissed this alert, I can't go back and see it again. So it's a little bit disappointing in that regard. I've looked everywhere. I feel like it's got to be here somewhere. And if I felt like calling their support team again, maybe they could point me in the right direction. It's a little bit strange to me that it's not fairly obvious to just see, dismissed alerts so you can go back and see what has been leaked and what has not. But in any case, so I would say that their identity theft monitoring is relatively thorough. I would say that others definitely found more across, more of my email addresses, but they found a lot. They definitely found a lot more than, Norton's renowned LifeLock, for example. But I would like to see more, and I think the user interface is definitely lacking here. In terms of the credit score tracker, I think this is pretty good. I mean, like, it's a nice little readout for sure. In terms of the credit score tracker, I would say, it's nice to see your credit score here. The plan that I've signed up for gives you one credit score, and that's updated monthly. And this is, the Vantage score powered by TransUnion. Although I find it a little bit disappointing that, they don't actually give you your credit reports right in here. You have to go to annualcreditreport.com and just request it, which is, you can do that anyway without IDShield. A lot of these systems just pull them right in for you, even on a monthly basis. So, a little bit disappointing in that regard. And of course, if you want the 3 bureau credit monitoring, you do have to upgrade your plan, which, not a huge fan of that. And then in terms of financial account monitoring, you can add bank accounts, credit cards, it looks like investment accounts. And basically you can set up thresholds so that if a transaction is over, a threshold that you set, you get a notification as well. So you can go and check in, see if that transaction is legitimate or if it's fraudulent, and take any action if need be. This is fairly standard amongst identity theft protection services. Not really a huge impact on what I think of identity theft protection services in general, because I think a lot of this can also be done directly with your bank or with your credit card. So nice to have, I guess, but not really a huge sort of tipping point. IDShield also offers, you can do sex offender monitoring right here, which a lot of the other brands do offer as well. I think you can also get this through public records, but basically you can put in your home address and it'll tell you any publicly registered sex offenders in your area. It also does social media monitoring, so you can link your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube accounts. And if there's anything that's sort of, abusive or bullying or, drug references, bad language, discriminatory terms, those types of things, ID Shield will alert you to that. On the one hand, it may be, monitoring your activity and make sure you're staying in line. But I think what it's really for is like if somebody gets hold of your accounts and starts using it for malicious activities, this is an alert that's what's going on. So, another nice thing to have, and this is something I'm seeing more and more in identity theft protection services. Not bad. They also have a reputation management system, but that is, once again, one of these portals. And every time I come to it, it gives me a 902 error. Not quite sure what that means, but I haven't been so interested in learning more about the reputation management that I've really gone in and tracked down what the issue is there. If you're interested in it, allegedly they have it. Doesn't work for me. So that's more or less how ID Shield stacks up in terms of monitoring. Not bad. I think not a very nice interface, and there's definitely better options out there. But let's continue on to support. One thing that they do have right in the corner here is just a little page on lost or stolen wallets, which is nice. It just kind of outlines the kinds of things that you can do. It's mostly informational, though, more like a reference, and they do give you a link to contact support. Say you lose your wallet and you need to cancel all these cards, order replacements, all of that. That's a fairly standard service amongst identity theft protection services, but it is nice to see that they've built it right into their dashboard here. And then what they do offer, should that horrible day come and someone gets a hold of your personal information and racks up a huge amount of credit in your name. Like most companies out there, they offer $1 million in reimbursement for unrecovered costs. And they do have dedicated licensed private investigators, and they're definitely there for support. And what I would say from my experiences calling them, they are very helpful. They answer the phone right away. They understand my concerns. They're clearly there. They understand the kind of problems I'm encountering, and they're happy to help. And they do provide a lot of useful information. And the agent that I called noticed that my credit monitoring hadn't been set up correctly, and she did offer to help me with that, and even gave me a direct line to call right back if I ran into any issues, which I thought was nice. So definitely not a typical call center experience or anything along those lines. Definitely felt like I was getting, personalized service from someone who cared, someone who understood my problems. And I think, should this horrible day come where your identity is indeed stolen, they're going to be there to help you out. So very helpful, very friendly, and quite a positive experience working with their support team. And last but not least, let's look at ID Shield's pricing. So I'm on this $14.95 per month, one credit bureau monitoring plan. It's an individual plan. And what that includes is identity protection, basically dark web monitoring, everything that we went over in the monitoring section of this discussion, identity restoration, what they'll do to help you out should that terrible day come. They have financial protection, credit scores, those types of things, and everything. And then one thing I didn't mention is if we come back to their dashboard here, they do have reputation management, anti-malware protection, a password manager, and a VPN. So a lot of nice perks that a lot of these identity theft protection services offer. They do offer as well. One thing to note is that plan at $14.95 per month is only getting you 1 bureau credit monitoring. and you're working with that kind of clunky interface, and the monitoring is also not as thorough as I've seen with others. That's why I really, have come to prefer Aura after working with all of these different companies. Their individual plan, if you also bill it monthly, is basically the same price, $15 per month, and you can knock that down a bit to $12 per month if you sign up for an annual plan. And that's giving you, all the same stuff: $1 million in identity theft insurance, white glove fraud remediation. With Aura, you're actually getting 3 bureau credit monitoring. So you're getting your credit scores and actually your credit reports. And they also offer a nice credit lock, so you can instantly lock your Experian credit file with just the click of a button, which is, very nice to prevent unwanted inquiries and potentially harm your credit score. And basically, it offers VPN, password manager, and their monitoring is really, really thorough. Their support's great. And all of this is before you apply my discount, which, if you use the link in my description, you can have that applied. At the time I'm writing, that will bring this down to, I believe, $12 per month monthly and $9 per month annually. And if you do opt for the family plan, up to 5 adults and unlimited kids protected, you could save up to 50%. So really knocks the prices that you see down here. But in any case, my link in the description for Aura will always be updated with the best deal I currently have for them. So check that out if you do decide to choose Aura. And if we come back to ID Shield here, if you do want that 3 bureau credit monitoring, you're going to be spending $19.95 per month. So definitely a bit more there. So overall, ID Shield's not bad. It's not an elegant product. When you go inside Aura's dashboard, on the other hand, it's like really well thought out. It's very well designed. It's all included. Everything's right there. ID Shield seems like it just needs an update to me. And I think that their dark web monitoring could be a little more thorough. I think obviously including this 3 bureau credit monitoring at a lower price would certainly help them as well. In any case, make sure to check the description of this video if you do decide to choose ID Shield for any discounts I might currently have. And if you want to learn more about identity theft protection services, check out more videos right here on this channel. I have an Aura review that I think is, really great if you want to check that out. And I also have a video comparing ID Shield and Aura directly, so you can see sort of a little bit more closely what you're getting with ID Shield versus what you're getting with Aura. I hope this helps you find a suitable identity theft protection service to keep you safe online.